Kept. Joey had been living his life as a kept man and a gigolo on the side. It's not something he planned on. It just sort of happened. Well, it happened the day he met Dolores. She was a body customer at the bar where he worked the closing shift. One night, like so many others, Dolores had had one too many martinis. And while pressing her sweating breasts over the edge of the wooden bar, she beckoned Joey over with a long red lacquered talon. "Hey, hon, you think you want to give me a ride tonight?" Joey, being the consummate professional, assumed that she meant she was too drunk to drive home the few blocks across the flat industrial town. He asked her to wait 10 minutes until the end of his shift. Exiting the building, she held tightly to his strong arm, teetering on sky-high stilettos through the parking lot. She pressed a car key into his hand, and he opened the door to her dilapidated Cadillac. The scent of stale perfume and cigarettes permeated the interior. She told him to get into the driver's seat and take her home. As he fastened his seatbelt, she reached over and grabbed at his crotch. Joey was only 23, and Dolores, well, she was definitely older than his mom and perhaps even his gran. The first time it happened in that caddy, they just leaned the seats back. Her excitement triggered his ego, and he was addicted immediately. The scent of well-worn, whole-grain leather, white diamonds, Benson and Hedges, and Aquanet intoxicated him. Joey continued seeing Dolores, initially in exchange for food and meager trinkets. Later on, he was given a watch, numerous shirts, socks, underwear, and once an incredible pair of alligator boots. She lavished him with attention, and occasionally he would find a $100 bill tucked into his wallet. He had a key to her house and came and went as he pleased. Dolores was always available except for Wednesday nights. Those were her service nights. Over time, Joey started to notice odd items around her home. There was an altar at the entryway where a small bowl stood filled with embers and small metallic bones. In addition, she had a few strands of ancient-looking beads and unusual amulets strewn behind doors and hanging in corners. Now and then he would smell something burning, which left a sour note lingering in the air. One night, as they shared the giant bathtub full of bubbles and red rose petals, she closed her eyes and leaned her head back. As she slowly opened them beneath heavy lashes to meet his, she stared for a few moments, then said, "It's time." "Time for what?" Joey was confused. "You ready?" Dolores mesmerized him with her icy blue eyes as she caressed his strong arms. He really didn't think much of it because he always went along with her whims. She told him to keep next Wednesday open and have an all-black outfit ready. In fact, she said she would get him something to wear. A few days later, he got to her house to find a pair of black pants and a buttoned-down silk black shirt laid out on the bed, along with Italian leather shoes to match. He dressed in the outfit, looking at himself with a smile in the full-length mirror. He smoothed his hair with some pomade, then headed downstairs to the living room where Dolores sat in an extravagant black velvet gown. She smiled with approval. Come here, baby." He sat next to her, inhaling the scent of her potent fragrance, feeling a slight wave of nausea come over him. She stubbed out her cigarette in the overflowing ashtray. After offering him a drink, she took his hand in hers. Dolores had beautiful hands, long fingers decorated with multiple cocktail rings which sparkled in the low light. Her enlarged pupils pierced his soul as she said, "Listen, baby, this means everything to me, and I want you to know I'm doing it for you." He smiled a weak smile, not sure what to make of her cryptic message. Another wave of nausea, coupled with slight dizziness, overcame him. The clock in the hallway struck 7 p.m. and Dolores startled. "Let's go," she told him. "We need to be there by 7:30. He dutifully followed. Somehow they arrived at the service and shuffled in behind a line of people all dressed in black. Upon closer observation, he realized that all of the people were women. He turned to ask Dolores why, but she only stared straight ahead, expressionless. He thought he heard music playing. Either it was muffled or he was drunk. As they reached the altar, he saw a cloaked priest or priestess holding up a flask containing a deep red liquid. Further in the distance, he noticed a platform with a sort of ditch around it in which there appeared to be dark water flowing. Dolores pressed him forward as his body resisted. He felt all eyes on him, and the humming began ever so subtly. A soft hum, which gradually became an unbearable crescendo. Hands were now touching his body, massaging his arms and back. He was being pushed forward to the altar. The women swarmed and pressed inward.